Hey friends, welcome back to Thoughts I Think. I'm your host Mike. I am currently in my car driving, so I apologize for the sound quality or the background noise, but I wanted to record this now because I'm in the mindset. I know what I want to say, and I know how to say it. Like I said, this episode is going to be about bullying, and this is a very near and dear subject to me. I experienced a lot of bullying growing up, primarily in my grade school up until 8th grade years, and then additionally in high school, but not quite the same or quite as bad. So I went to grade school at a private school, a parochial Catholic private school, co-ed, and I was ridiculed, made fun of, mocked for my hair, for my clothes, even though they were the same as everyone else because we had school uniforms. But I was called gay. I had a gay haircut. I was called retarded. I was made fun of for the way I looked, which of course I can't control. I was made fun of because I didn't know what certain sexual terms meant, which is stupid. And then outside of school, I would go with my friend from down the street where I lived. I would go with him to the local park, and we would be walking around and go to play in like the basketball court area. And kids, usually about my age, maybe a little bit older, would come in and bully us off the court. They would chase us off the court. They would threaten us. They would basically chase us out of the public park. And I would just go, not literally, but basically crying, at least on the inside. And I would leave. That same friend and I would walk from my house to the store, usually Toys R Us, and in that area, and there was a cool rooftop parking lot that we would always go to that was empty. And to get there, we had to walk down the sidewalk of a relatively busy street. And in the process of walking down that street, I had someone throw a giant black garbage bag full of garbage at me and hit me in the back of my head. At the time, I thought that was just, I hate to say it, but almost normal. This happens to people. But now I realize it doesn't, and that wasn't right. I recall, and I don't know how old I was, but there was a time in school I was taken into the bathroom by another heavy-set kid. I don't know his name. I cannot remember it. I'm not going to say it. But I was taken into the bathroom, pushed against the stall wall, and strangled and held there for what felt like a couple minutes, but was probably 30 seconds, and laughed at and hurt physically and emotionally. I was dismissed and taken advantage of many times, and I don't mean that physically or sexually, but if I was on the playground as a young kid and playing like Foursquare or one of the other games, I was in line. If someone else wanted to go in front of me, they would just go in front of me and wouldn't let me fight back. Whatever I said was stupid, didn't matter. And they would take their spot and I would have to just deal with it. And I did. I took it. I still do. And I will get to that in a minute. There was a time when I was on the playground with the football game going on. No, I'm sorry, it was the soccer game that was going on. And I ran into a kid in the back. He turned around and punched me in the stomach about 7 times. Didn't hurt much, but he punched me in the stomach, and when he saw it wasn't bothering me, he punched me across the face. That one did kind of hurt. Nobody did anything about it. throughout all of these experiences, no teacher, my parents, no adult figure ever stepped in to make it stop. No one ever tried to help me get through it in the sense of actually taking care of the situation. I was told, laugh with them. Make it look like it doesn't hurt you or bother you, and they'll leave you alone because that's all they want, is to see that it's affecting you. So just laugh with them and it won't affect you. They won't bother you. That didn't work. That just made me believe that who I was what they were telling me I needed to be. That I wasn't anything more than the person that they told me to be. Not the person I was trying to be, not the real me, because they told me that was wrong. So I continued to live that life. Still kind of do. And for the most part, I'm a very quiet person because I was taught my whole life, if I say something, I will get ridiculed. I will get mocked. My words are worthless. My words don't mean shit. So there's no point in me saying it. So I don't talk in public much. I don't talk outside of my house and my family because it doesn't mean anything and it will just get laughed at, or I will be wrong, as I often was as a child, as I often was as a young adult. I continue to live where I am scared, reluctant to change my style, to change my haircut, to change the way I dress, because I don't want people to look at me and laugh at what I do or the way I'm dressing, the way my hair is. I don't want people to think I'm strange or unusual. I want to fit in and just be the person that everyone knows and already has accepted as whatever the fuck I am and doesn't say anything or laugh at. I just want to move on my life without any confrontation, without any ridicule. So I have learned how to conform and live that way. And it is a miserable life that I believe and have kind of been verified by therapists is the reason and the primary factor behind my depression. And all of this is to say, stop bullying. It's not worth it. It changes lives beyond just making you feel better because you're making someone else feel worse. It changes lives to the point that they don't want their life anymore. It changes lives to the point that people are scarred and traumatized and ruined for their entire fucking life. Don't bully people. And if you see someone bullying, don't be like me and be a pussy. Fight them. Stand up to the person they're bullying. Stand up for the person they're bullying. Stand up to the bully. Fight them and tell them to stop. It's not fucking right, and it ruins lives. I am living as a shell of this person I was told I should be, and I am not living as the person I really am or I really should be. I believe I'm starting to get there, and this podcast is actually a step in that direction. I'm voicing things. I'm telling you things. I'm letting things off my chest. I'm talking to my therapist more about it. I'm talking to my wife more and my family more about these things. And I'm becoming that person. But I'm 42 years old, and I am just now starting to become me. I've missed half my life being the shell of some thing that a bunch of 10, 12, 13, 14, 15-year-old kids told me I should be, and told me repeatedly, day after day, in hurtful words and hurtful ways. And I continued to live that way up until now. And it has destroyed me. I had been dreading the next 40 years of my life assuming I live a normal lifetime. I dread the fact that I have another 40 to 50 years to live, because the first 40 years of my life were so miserable, were so awful. And that's what bullying does to people. That's what makes people kill themselves. That's why when you go out, there are people that are just withdrawn, secluded, stuck in the corner and don't want to talk, don't want to do anything because they don't fucking know how, because somebody out there told them the wrong thing or taught them the wrong way or made them believe something completely and utterly ridiculous and ludicrous. Bullying needs to stop. And I'm gonna hold to this and probably have another episode at some point, because this means a lot to me and it ruined my life. And I am finally starting to understand the effect it had and almost understanding how to cope with it and get past it. Stop bullying. Stop going through this, putting people through this, and fight the bullies. Thank you for listening, and I hope to see you next week.